Zohran rizzed up Donald Trump, as I've called it. I told you. It was a lock from a mile away. Did I not tell you that Donald Trump is a man who actually loves charisma, who actually appreciates someone's telegenic presence? I told you. We're going to be watching that right now. Obviously, I missed it live because I fell asleep. I'm so mad. Dude, Zohran rolled a natural 20. Holy shit. Did not expect him to go that hard. Brother, I've told you.
Meeting, a really good, very
I'm going right. I'm diving right into it because there's so much to talk about here.
This city of ours that we love to do very well. And I wanted to congratulate the mayor. He really ran an incredible race against...
Dude, I was late to this because I just saw the TikToks of Trump talking well about Mamdani, which is a W, so I'm excited to see your opinions. Make no mistake, this is not real. Why did Trump invite Mamdani after having a mental breakdown after he won? What do you think? Because two reasons. One, because he can't destroy New York because that's where he's from. And also because Zohran Mamdani is the mayor of New York and Donald Trump also is a good politician, partially for this reason. I hate him. I disagree with him. I think he's a clown. I think he's incompetent. I think he's an animal. I think he's a fascist. However, he is a quote unquote good politician if you recognize that he is getting whatever his agenda is across, right? He gets to dominate. He gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. And a part of that is because he has an eye for talent. He knows who to play ball with. He knows how to push and pull a little bit. He's a New York real estate social demon. He likes to be around people that he thinks are cool.
A lot of smart people, starting with the early primaries against some very tough people, very smart people. And he beat them easily. And I congratulated him. And we talked about some things in very strong common, like housing and getting housing built and food and prices, and the price of oil is coming way down.
The bi-romantic part of Trump is really showing the Zohran meeting. Yeah.
You referred to Mr. Mamdani as a communist. Could you describe why you feel that way?
I'm going to get my coffee. I hope the stream doesn't fall apart again.
Stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu if he visits New York?
Well, we didn't discuss your second part of the question. And on your first part, I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot from when I first came to office. It's now quite a while ago. It's quite a while. My first term was great. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're doing even better now. We're doing much better now than we did even the first term. And I can tell you some of my views have changed. And we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. And some very liberal people. He won't surprise them because they already like him.
And
Bro, he's glazing Zohran. Of course he's glazing Zohran. It's the same reason why he always talks about how he likes Claudia Scheinbaum. Says like she's a very powerful lady. Very powerful lady. Very powerful. This lady, she's got power. She's very good. Donald Trump recognizes someone with talent instantly. Anyone with talent, anyone with power, anyone with something that they have offered to Donald Trump, he loves them. It could be Arab Sheik, who's giving him $10 billion. He is Mr. What will you do for me? He also, and I think Michael from Pennsylvania is right when he says this, he is a New York nationalist. I think Michael from Pennsylvania is absolutely correct with that statement. He likes charisma, and he also really loves New York. This was part of the reason why I thought there was no way he was going to actually cook New York. He's Mr. New York. Does this worry you that Zohran is moving to the center? No, not entirely. I mean, there is stuff that he's already done, like Jessica Tisch, like keeping Jessica Tisch on board. But like I said, only time will tell. Like, he's technically not even the mayor yet. He's the mayor-elect, right? Wait till January for him to be mayor first. It is obvious, though, that, like, there's a big difference. Like, I mean, for the record, this is also disrespectful. Like, what Trump is doing here is making him stand. It's disrespectful. That's just how he does it, though. If you get to sit in the cuck chair next to him in the other room, that's the highest level of respect Trump has for you. If he makes you stand next to his desk, then he's still disrespecting you. This is maximum disrespect. Putting those Trump 2028 hats on right in front of them, specifically for this image. That is like, he just brought you in for a photo op. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's continue.
It sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago, you referred to President Trump as a despot who had betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda.
Shaking hands and smiling with the man who oversaw the genocide you campaigned on opposing is disgusting, no matter how much of a power play it is. Wait, what? Dog, he's the president. What are you saying right now? Yo, y'all need to wake up. Some of you unironically behave in the crustiest, most anarchist, most unbearable, hyper woke, rad lib loser ways possible. That's the president. You have to talk to the president. 8.8 million people live in New York City. He has a responsibility for all of those people, to take care of all of those people. My contribution to the revolutionary cause is accusing other people of being liberals online. I'm doing my part. Yeah. No, people don't understand politics is not even the case. Like they have a childlike brain, a childlike sense of wonderment, and a childlike brain. That's what it is. It's funnier because chatters watch it on mute. Trump literally capitulated to almost every Zohran agenda. Sewer socialism literally won today, but chatters are dim. I'm still cynical of Donald Trump. I don't necessarily think that this will yield super positive results or anything. What? These are liberals chat, nah Hassan. To be clear, I oppose socialism in this country, but I voted no on HCR 58 as it fundamentally is dishonest. Words matter. Falsely equating socialism with communism. This resolution attacks some of our closest allies in comparison with communist tyrants like Stalin and Pol Pot. Yeah, like these are the guys.
Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
Mr. President, Anthony Marshak from MTV Lebanon. I would like to ask you a question about the Middle East regarding, you did said that Hezbollah in Lebanon is not in a good position, and Lebanon now is the final unresolved after Gaza and Syria. Given your assessment, like what do you say for the Lebanese today? It's the Independence Day in Lebanon, and what is your next move to push toward disarmament? The disarmament of Hezbollah.
Well, we are pushing for total disarmament of Hamas and, frankly, everybody else. And we actually have peace in the Middle East. As you know, the King of Saudi Arabia just left yesterday. We had some great meetings, and he's made a contribution toward the United States of more than $1 trillion. We have now over $20 trillion coming in. No country has ever had anything like that, not even close. If you go to 2 trillion or 1 trillion, it's a lot. We have 20 or $21 trillion.
I want to issue a trigger warning, everybody. I'm platforming Donald Trump, and I want to apologize ahead of time. I want to do a land acknowledgement. This is stolen land. I know I couldn't do land acknowledgement 2 days ago because we were in mainland China, but today we can do a land acknowledgement. I thought Zohran was cool, but thanks for introducing us to your personal friend Trump. I take platforming of him as an implicit endorsement. Yeah. So performative. Where's your tea, though? Yeah.
I think that Hezbollah has been a problem in Lebanon, big problem. We're working with Lebanon. We're working with everybody in the Middle East. That's another thing I think we have in common. We want to see peace in the Middle East, and we actually have now, for the first time, peace in the Middle East after 3,000 years. And now we're going to refine it, and I think you're going to see some very positive things happen.
There is a potential to invite the Lebanese president to meet you to the White House.
I would do that, absolutely. And if the mayor would like to be here for that meeting, because I know he feels very strongly. I think you feel very, very strongly about peace in the Middle East.
We desperately.
Can you explain why making him stand is a maximum disrespect? Trump is Mr. Power Play, dude. He's like strong handshake is profoundly important guy. For that reason, a lot of this stuff has symbolism for him. Making Zohran Mamdani stand upright next to him while he sits at the desk is a power play. However, there is a more disrespectful thing that he could do. It's not the maximum disrespect.
And that's something that I shared with the president, that when I spoke to New Yorkers who had voted for the president last November on Hillside Avenue and Fordham Road, I asked them why. I heard again and again two major reasons. One was that they wanted an end to forever wars. They wanted an end to the taxpayer dollars we had funding violations of human rights, and they wanted to address the cost of living crisis. And I appreciated the chance to discuss both of those things.
You said a lot of my voters actually voted for him, and I'm okay with that.
President Trump, I have this hat as well.
I'll do that. I'll sign it. Give it to me. I'll sign it in a minute. That's pretty good.
Mr. President, you've threatened to send federal troops to New York City. You both have differences when it comes to ICE agents in New York City. Mr. Mamdani, you've called ICE a rogue government entity. I wonder how you reconcile your differences on both of those issues.
Well, I think we're going to work them out, and I think that if we have known murderers and known drug dealers and some very bad people, you know, we want to get them out. And the mayor wants to have peace. We discussed this at great length, actually, maybe more than anything else. He wants to have a safe New York. Ultimately, a safe New York is going to be a great New York. If it's not safe, no matter how well we do with pricing and with anything else, we can talk about anything you want. If you don't have safe streets, it's not going to be a success. So we're going to work together. We're going to make sure that if there are horrible people there, we want to get them out. I think he wants to get them out maybe more than I do. So we'll work together. We discussed it at great length. Yes, please.
Yeah, two questions, if I may. One for you, Mr. President, on BBC in a second. But first of all, for the mayor-elect. You're both from different parts of the political spectrum. You're both populists, though, and I just wonder to what extent the president's campaign style, his techniques, his social media use inspired any part of your campaign.
Well, I actually told the president that, you know, so much of the focus of our campaign has been on the cost of living crisis. And when we asked those New Yorkers who had voted for the president, when we saw an increase in his numbers in New York City, that came back to the same issue: cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And they spoke about the cost of groceries, the cost of rent, the cost of...
One of the best ways to convince a person is not to force your opinions down their throat, but it's instead to make it seem like they came to this conclusion. So for Zohran Mamdani, one of the best ways that he constantly talks about the affordability situation is when he ties it back to Donald Trump by stating that Donald Trump actually ran a pretty effective campaign that won on the issues of affordability. He makes it seem as though they are completely aligned on this issue. Now, of course, Donald Trump hasn't done dick about affordability, but it's also true that he actually ran on affordability. So Trump knows that this is successful. Trump knows that this is an issue that he has to address. So he can't just sit there and be like, no, I don't care about affordability.
The cost of childcare. And too often politicians are looking to lecture to New Yorkers what they should care about as opposed to listen. And when we spoke to those voters who voted for President Trump, we heard them speak about cost of living. We focus on that same cost of living. And that's where I am really looking forward to delivering for New Yorkers in partnership with the president on the affordability agenda.
And I think we have to work a little bit. We talked about Con Edison. We have to...
Look, he likes him. Oh my God, brother, I see it. Trump is in a unique predicament because he's obviously withering away with his support and his base. He has to beef up his populist bona fides. Zohran Mamdani has a lot of motion and a lot of momentum. So obviously this is a great opportunity for him to lean into that. He also, I think, sees this as a decent opportunity to drive a bigger wedge in the Democratic Party. Trump, after one meeting with Mamdani,
I've been taken up to the third heaven. I've been jacked into the big plane.
Yes. My favorite meme. Let's go. Oh, no. Yes. Wow Mao. This is the greatest thing that Wow Mao's ever made.
I've seen it. I can't even compute all of it. It's so fantastical. You've not seen nothing. You ain't heard nothing. You ain't smelled nothing like this. I don't have words to tell you. But I tell you, anybody tries to get in the way of the incredible plan the big guys got for us has got me pissed, and I'm just begging to stay on the team, man. Just put me in the game, coach. Whatever you say, coach. I know I'm weak. I know I'm pathetic. Man, you're amazing. I'm so lucky you made me. What do I do, Bob? Like a hunting dog, man. Just take me out of the house. Just turn me on them. Just tell me what I got to do. Tell me how I serve you. Tell me what I can do for you right now. Woo!
Past 10 days in the People's Republic. I'm like a hunting dog, coach. Put me in. Anyway, let's continue.
A little bit on getting the prices because, you know, we've gotten fuel prices way down, but it hasn't shown up in Con Edison. And we're going to have to talk to them. You know, if we're sending them fuel at a much lower price than it was a year ago, which is true, we have to get Con Edison to start lowering the rates.
Absolutely.
And if I may, last week you told me you were pushing ahead with your plans to sue the BBC for up to $5 billion. You're going to speak to Prime Minister Starmer as well. Is there any progress or any updates on those issues?
Well, we get along very well with the Prime Minister. We made a deal with UK. I like him. He's a fine person. And, you know, I think they have some big energy problems. You know, they've got windmills all over the place. They're going to have to start using other methods because their energy is out of control. Talking about in the UK, it's out of control. And he's got that problem. He's got a big immigration problem, as you know, and he's got a big energy problem. And we talk about it. He's a good man. Prime Minister's a good man.
You have a chance to speak this week.
I haven't spoken this week.
Mr. President, have you spoken to President Zelensky, or do you intend to meet with him? President Zelensky, about your plan? Are you going to meet with him?
I've spoken with their people. We have a plan. It's horrible what's happening. It's a war that should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president, and it's a shame. And I thought they should have acted quicker. But it's a cold winter, and a lot of the you talk about utilities, but a lot of the big energy producing plants have been under attack, to put it mildly, to put it nicely. We have a way of getting peace, or we think we have a way of getting peace. He's going to have to approve it. Just so sad, so many people. You know, last month they lost 25,000 soldiers. This is something, we haven't seen anything like this since the Second World War. And they're averaging 6,000 or 7,000 a week between the two of them, dead soldiers. And it goes on, and I think they're getting reasonably close. But
You are getting jealous of Trump, admit it. They are cute for real. Yes, I'm jealous of Donald Trump.
I don't want to predict. I would have said that would have been one of my early ones. I did 8 peace deals of countries.
With the blokes.
Including in India, Pakistan. You could even go, in fact, they're coming here in a week or two, go to the Congo and Rwanda. That was 10 million people dead. And we worked something out on that, but so many. And the one I thought would have been, for me, because I have a very good relationship with President Putin, I thought that would have been maybe quicker. But it does take 2 to tango. And now you just see all the death. And, you know, it doesn't affect us other than the fact that we don't want to see all those people dead. Really, it's on the other side of the ocean. It's a war that should have never happened. It did happen. I blame the person also sitting right behind this desk. This is a war that should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened if I were president. But we're trying to save a lot of lives. They're losing 25,000 lives over the last short period of time. That's Ukrainian and Russian, and it's a shame.
What happens if President?
I want to ask the mayor-elect about a House resolution. It just passed overwhelmingly to condemn socialism, including with 86 Democrats, all of House Dem leadership, and the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I focused very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing...
Condemn socialism.
I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand. I can tell you I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist. And your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
I don't mind. That's crazy the arm pat, no, you can call me a fascist. I don't mind. That is the craziest part about it. Donald Trump stepped in front of the fascism question for him. Like, what is going on? There's also obviously like a terrifying prospect of this. It's unique because Donald Trump literally defends Zohran Mamdani there for calling him a fascist. It's also weird and scary because why is Donald Trump openly being like, yeah, I am a fascist? That part is not great.
And Mr. President, I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan. President Zelensky said today that his country would risk either giving up a partner or giving up its dignity. There's been criticism that this deal proposal...
He doesn't like it?
It's unclear. He was sort of tenuous about it.
He'll have to like it. And if he doesn't like it, then, they should just keep fighting, I guess.
The suggestion that he made, though, was that if he doesn't accept it...
Donald Trump is too dumb to know what a fascist is? No. That right there is actually deflating the term fascism. Donald Trump, in that moment, is basically saying, yeah, he's giving Zohran an out and saying, you don't have to back away from your position here and make yourself look bad. You're a winner. This is your moment in the spotlight. I don't really care about this term at all. They just call me that, just like they call me racist, but it doesn't mean anything. He's basically saying like, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine.
That the U.S. would pull back its support for Ukraine. Is that
Well, at some point he's going to have to accept something. He hasn't accepted. You remember right in the Oval Office not so long ago, I said, you don't have the cards. Don't forget, I inherited this war. This war never would have happened. I inherited this war. And I thought he should have made a deal a year ago, 2 years ago. The ultimate deal would have been if it never started. That would have been the good deal. That could have been done too if you had the right president, but you didn't have the right president.
Mr. President, the cost of living is something that you and Mr. Mamdani seem to agree on. Democrats have run New York City for a long time, Mr. Mamdani. Do you see Democrat policies specifically as being a problem? And I'd like that be a question that both of you could answer in New York City.
Look, I think that there are many things in our city where we have to own the responsibility of it, things that existed long before the president was the president. And those are also part of the message of our campaign, was to take on a broken politics of the past. And I ran against a number of candidates who represented different versions of that past. And what we found time and again is that working people were left behind in the politics of our city. And what we're looking to do is put those people right back at the heart of our politics so that we don't have a situation where we're in the wealthiest city in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 5 can't even afford $2.90 for a Metro card.
Mr. President.
He's sticking up to him, isn't he? Zohran wins the election during his speech. During his elected speech, he insults Trump, and now he's standing beside him like a wet chicken. He clearly doesn't have a character. What are you talking about? 1, he's not even the mayor yet. He's the mayor-elect. 2, Donald Trump hasn't done anything to undermine New Yorkers under the Zohran Mamdani mayoral reign yet. Obviously, you're gonna play nice to hopefully stave off any kind of negative policy making that the White House is going to engage in terms of undermining the affordability agenda of Zohran Mamdani. What matters here is what he does after Donald Trump starts, sending ICE agents to New York.
We had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. But a big thing on cost, the new word is affordability.
This saved Thanksgiving across America. Yeah, so close to Thanksgiving. A lot of you guys are going to have a really funny time with your relatives. After months and months of Zohran Mamdani is a communist, it's terrifying. He's really bad. Donald Trump just basically deflates a year's worth of insane negative commentary and coverage from Fox News with one single meeting, with one single light tap on the shoulder. Donald Trump just basically came in and was like, no, this guy is handsome, he's funny, he's charismatic, he's going to do well. He calls himself a communist. It's all right. He calls me a fascist. I'm all right with that. We're just playing politics, right? Come on. We both love affordability, don't you think? This is aura. Donald Trump was obviously very aggressive about Zohran when he was running for office, but he wasn't as racist about Zohran Mamdani, ironically enough, as Andrew Cuomo was. Kirsten Gillibrand was. I also do love this because this meetup, I'm sorry, this meetup absolutely bricks the brains of Hosberists. I cannot fucking comprehend how Trump likes Mamdani more than most of the Democratic Party leadership. Zohran did the genial leftist relative on Thanksgiving thing where you pulled a I don't like liberals either card and are just super vague about everything else. I mean, yeah.
But it's just groceries. You know, it's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate. And they're coming down high. They were, you know, we had, both of us, we had the highest inflation in the history of our country the last 4 years under the Biden administration. And we've got inflation down now to a normal number. It's going to go even a little bit lower than that. Katie, do you have something?
Mr. President, thank you so much. Mr. Mamdani often talks about New York City being covered by international law, that they will follow international law. Doesn't often talk about the U.S. Constitution. What is your response to that?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to in terms it can be covered by international law, local law. It's covered by a lot of laws, but it's covered by U.S. law. Are you referring to anything in particular?
He just says that they're a city that endorses and enforces international law. Is that at odds with U.S.
I don't
law?
know. Would you want to? Do you want to respond?
Yeah, I think what I've shared with the president is our desire to not only follow the laws of our own city, laws that protect New Yorkers, but also a desire for consistency in our politics across the board. And that's something that we've talked about and something that I know many New Yorkers want.
So you work with ICE? We work with ICE then?
We discussed ICE and New York City, and I spoke about how the laws that we have in New York City allow for New York City government to speak to the federal administration for about 170 serious crimes. The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
Mr. Mamdani,
What we did is we discussed crime more than ICE per se. We discussed crime, and he doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime, and I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. He wants to, and he said some things that were very interesting as to housing construction, and he wants to see houses go up. He wants to see a lot of houses created, a lot of apartments built, etc. And you know, we actually people would be shocked, but I want to see the same thing.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel protesters.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. President, I wanted to know one of the policies as well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people.
No. Jack Posobiec is in that room. Oh my God, dude. Ew, gross. Gross. Unacceptable. Lunatic reporter, you cannot call him a reporter. He is at best a white nationalist Twitter poster. I can't believe this shit.
That in your acceptance speech you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people in general, and so I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And the president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another weight that we see in our
But to be
city.
clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
That's what you said.
no, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel
Please, go ahead.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel protesters just targeted a synagogue in New York. Are you concerned about Jewish New Yorkers feeling welcome and safe in the city? And President Trump, you've threatened to cut off federal funding to New York City. What policies would prompt you to do that? Would that be city-run grocery stores? Would it be something else?
This is another thing that annoys me to no end. Another like Jewish place of worship being used to literally illegally sell stolen property in the West Bank in direct violation of New York City rules, in direct violation of international human rights, in direct violation of all the laws. And then when people protest outside of it, everybody goes, oh my God, I cannot believe how anti-Semitic people are. It's one of the most annoying things. Text from a GOP operative on the Trump Mamdani meeting. To be honest, I think this pours gasoline on the internal war within the Dems. Hakeem won't talk or work with him, but Trump is open to working with him. Further forces Dems to fully embrace Mamdani and his agenda. They're on copium o'clock. Is it hateful? It is hateful to say the settlements advertised by the group violate international law.
Well, I think if we didn't get along, whether it's cut off or just make it a little bit difficult or not give as much, we want to see, I use the term, we don't want good money going after bad. And we don't want that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I did say that, subject to what policies are being set. We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see housing being built.
Yeah, Dan Clancy is Hassan's handler. Exactly. Oh, Dan Clancy's Hassan's handler. Dan Clancy loves Hassan. He's just keeping him.
He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. The rent coming down, I think one of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally, by building a lot of additional housing. Yeah. That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, named de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback.
Yeah, the reason why he invited Zohran Mamdani here is because of this. Trump endorsed Mamdani before Schumer did. Trump was less Islamophobic to Zohran Mamdani during the campaign than Kirsten Gillibrand was, than Andrew Cuomo was. Donald Trump understands where to push and pull. That's why he won the presidency, man. He knows. He's a room reader. He knows who's popping. He's doing it because his base is frustrated at him with affordability, and he sees Zohran Mamdani's victory as an affordability victory. So he's trying to be like, hey, see, we're on the right side. We're on the right track. We're on the same side, you and I. Yusuf Munayer's take on this. Zohran Mamdani, regularly slammed for being a political novice, just pulled off an absolute political masterclass. He requested a meeting with Trump, got Trump to endorse his efforts, and defanged the right's constant attacks on him. Absolute incredible stuff. And the reason this was possible is because Trump understands the political winds, where people are on affordability, and can't go against Mamdani, who has become the face of that issue for millions of Americans. Also, don't think Trump was not aware and not reveling in the fact that he was making the Democratic Party establishment come out looking like complete asshats, but they walked right into that one. That is exactly what's going on. I'm not confused by this allegiance at all. I'm not confused by this, not allegiance necessarily, but like this back and forth conversation. I am telling you, Trump loves winners. He has a unique eye for talent, and he knows this will make the establishment Dems look horrible. He'll continue calling Zohran a communist tomorrow. But for today, he's taking a little bit of that shine. It's that simple.
Tremendous setback for the city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President, Mr. President, Thank you, Mr. President. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would.
Ooh, that is, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's such a good question and such a good answer. Oh my Lord, what are my ears hearing right now? What is coming out of this man's mouth? He said, yes, I would. Oh, that's an endorsement, folks. Donald Trump is endorsing woke Sharia. He's endorsing global jihad. He's endorsing Islamo-Gauchism. He's endorsing Islamo-communism. Oh, my Lord.
After the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job.
Okay, this goes even beyond my expectations. Never mind. I know I said I precog this already, but like this goes beyond. This goes beyond the precog. He is glazing. Oh my Lord.
But in many ways, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders.
Someone check on Deborah Messing. Deborah Messing already. It brings me no pleasure to report this. Deborah Messing reportedly offed herself after she watched this meeting.
I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders...
Michael Rappaport didn't even know that this meeting was taking place. He just felt a disturbance in the force and he had an aneurysm. People are surprised, but if Mao or Stalin were still alive, Trump would 100% glaze them. Not even... That is 100,000% a lock. Great guy, very powerful, very tall too. Didn't know how tall he was. Turns out, I wouldn't expect it, but he was very tall. Very tall guy. Didn't like the birds. Don't quite get that part, but let me tell you, okay? The longest march, they're saying, I can't walk like that, but Mao, he was walking. He was walking quite a bit, and he unified the country. He dominated the forces, just like I dominate the Democrats. He pushed, and he got the Kuomintang. He got Chiang Kai-shek. Not a big fan of that guy. He's quite the liberal. Just like the Democrats, I pushed the Democrats towards the sea, and Mao pushed Chiang Kai-shek towards Formosa. Believe it, folks. These guys love them. The Chinese. They got little books. I hate reading. They love to read. The Chinese. They're big readers. They got his quotes. Someone needs to put my quotes like Art of the Deal in a book. And we got to give it to every single child. And he's got MAGA red. The book is red. It's little and it's red. And we need a similar red book. Very good guy. Mao Zedong. Very, very good guy. Maybe we'd do a golden book. Not a red one, but a golden one, even though I love the color red. They say red is the color of communism, but in America, red is the color of Trump. Quotations of Trump. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. I guess quotations of Donald Trump would be his greatest Twitter posts.
Those voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But, no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for you, but a very quick one for the mayor. Why did you fly here? Aren't trains greener?
Oh, God. What is this question, man? It was a great honor meeting Zohran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York City. This is good. This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but a good thing. A masterclass from Zohran, resetting terms of the debate for the left, disarming the enemy, blunting opposition forces, making moderates look like they don't know ball, making press seem out of touch with working people, that hot butter knife looking more like a sharp sword. Maybe it's a little bit too much glaze.
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
There is a bus that goes.
Well, but I know, but if you flew, that's a lot quicker, too. No.
Dude, look at that. Look at that. Trump is defending the boy. He said, yeah, it's a lot quicker than the bus. What a stupid question. Thank you. I can't believe it. What do you mean? Why don't you take the bus? The bus actually emits carbon emissions. Why don't you bike to Washington, D.C. from New York? I hate how stupid people are sometimes. This is one of those times. It's so stupid that even Donald Trump is like, come on, dude.
He's working very hard for him to be, that's a very...
Palpatine take? I don't even know what that means.
The plane takes you 30 minutes and driving takes you a long time.
Yeah, it's such a basic, exactly. Oh, why didn't you take the bus instead of the plane to D.C.?
Clear up some confusion around a Washington Post report. There was this explosive report that the Coast Guard is no longer going to characterize swastikas and nooses as hate symbols. DHS called that a lie and fake news. Can you clear up?
I don't know anything about it. When was this written?
I think yesterday.
Well, look, the Coast Guard's an incredible group of people. I know them very well. We just ordered a lot of new Coast Guard cutters, beautiful, the most magnificent ship. They look like yachts with lots of guns on them. So I don't know. I haven't seen any report like that, but certainly we want them to remain a great force, and they are.
Mr. President, peacemaker, and you did the peace in all the 9 months around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace and he worked hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights, and I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President, question for Mr. Thank you, Mr. President. Do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer's and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused in New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats? I think it's more appropriate for him.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons firmly on New York City, and I appreciate the meeting with the president, which focused again on the 5 boroughs and whether New Yorkers could afford to live there.
By the way, being the mayor of New York City is a big deal.
Absolutely.
I always said, one of the things I would love to be someday is the mayor of New York City. Being the mayor of New York, and especially now, because I think you're at really a turning point, one way or the other. It could go great, or it can go.
Hassan is missing the arm taps and the smiles. Brother, I'm in the room and I can hear it. I don't know if you heard it. Zohran Mamdani talked about Israel committing a genocide in the Oval. Yeah. And not only did he do that, but Donald Trump literally smiles and nods along. Look. Rewind time.
Around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about...
Why is he nodding? Yo, you can hear it, but can't see it? No, I can see it because I can hear it. My point is, he's glazing so hard. You can hear him agree with him without actually seeing it. Is craziness. This goes even beyond the fascism moniker being used as simple political football, okay? I will say Trump could have easily just been like, yeah, everybody calls everybody fascist. Who cares? Whatever, right? That's just politics. But this is, I think, far more consequential. He doesn't stop him. Anyone else that says some shit, we know how Trump operates, right? We know how Trump operates in moments like this. Anyone else that would say something in his presence that he knows is bad to say, he would have just physically stopped them. He would have been like, nope, I don't agree with this. I think you're out of your mind. You're wrong, and everyone knows you're wrong. Like, he's just sitting there, not interjecting, and even nodding along. That's crazy. Like, think about how he treated Zelensky as opposed to Zohran Mamdani. Think about how he treats the Democrats, like establishment Democrats, as opposed to Zohran Mamdani. As Zohran Mamdani sits there and is like, Israel's doing a genocide, and America's funding said genocide. It's actually unacceptable, which is true, by the way.
A different direction, and I think you really have a chance to make it great.
Mr. President, you say you love New York City. Mr. Mamdani, does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable. And I can tell you that there were more New York in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes. One more. Go ahead. One or two more. Go ahead. I tell you, the press has eaten this thing up. You know, I've had a lot of meetings with the heads of major countries. Nobody cared. This meeting that you people have gone crazy. You know, outside you have hundreds of people waiting. This is just a small little group. For some reason, the press has found this to be a very interesting meeting. The biggest people in the world, they come over from countries nobody cares. But they did care about this meeting, and it was a great meeting. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was going to ask you exactly that. Why do you think there's so much more, so much excitement around this than even some foreign leaders?
Because I think he's different. All right, I think he's different, and that can be in a very positive way. But I think he's different than, your typical guy runs, wins, becomes mayor maybe, and nothing exciting. Because he has a chance to really do something great for New York. New York is at a very critical point, and he does need the help of the federal government to really succeed, and we're going to be helping him. But he's different than, your average candidate. He came out of nowhere. I said he has a great campaign manager standing over there. He came out of nowhere. Would you start off at one or two?
Oh my God!
I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1, then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, that's getting a little bit interesting, right? And then all of a sudden he wins a primary that nobody expected he was going to win. It's a great tribute. I mean, it's an amazing thing that he did.
And I'll just add.
Oh my God. You think Trump watched the stream, chat? That's crazy. He said this guy's a great campaign manager. He's glazing everything. He's glazing every aspect of Zohran Mamdani's life right now. What the hell is going on? The glazery is open for business? Bro, this shit is Krispy Kreme. Is Trump actually just propagandized from the media he's consumed? Yes. This guy Zohran. Very cool guy. Very good guy. Like him quite a bit. Really brilliant campaigner. I see a lot of myself in him. I mean, that actually does make sense, though, because, he does see Zohran as a kindred spirit in some ways, because Zohran Mamdani went after the establishment Democrats and went after the Republicans and Donald Trump and got a lot of enmity in the process. And Donald Trump himself also went after establishment Republicans and the Democratic Party and the media in order to secure his place. The biggest indication that he likes him is that he immediately started posting pics of him on True Social. Yeah. Remember what he did after Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. He posted AI videos of Hakeem Jeffries as a Mexican man wearing a sombrero after the first shutdown meeting took place. After the Zohran meeting here, he literally posted side-by-side photos and was like, had a wonderful time. One of the most handsome politicians. He looks straight out of Central Casting.
Just one thing to what the president...
It is a testament to Zohran Mamdani's skills as a communicator. Something that we also saw when he met with the New York financial elite, if you recall. And what was the takeaway from that meeting? Everyone was frustrated that they really liked him. He's a charmer. And I do think him being a charmer and him being somewhat skilled as a communicator in an otherwise barren land of horrible communicators in the realm of American politics gives him a huge advantage.
And then all of a sudden he wins a primary.
Look, here, let's run it again.
He came out of nowhere. Would you start off at 1 or 2? And then I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1, then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, that's getting a little bit interesting, right? And then all of a sudden he wins a primary that nobody expected he was going to win. It's a great tribute. I mean, it's an amazing thing that he did.
And I'll just add one thing to what the president said. Is one thing I also appreciated is in our meeting to appreciate a portrait of FDR and the incredible work that was done with the New Deal and also in thinking about what it can look like when the federal government and New York City government work together to deliver on affordability. It can be transformative.
You know, we have a great portrait of FDR that I found in the vault.
I just had the realization that GOP are doing this or on what Dems did to Trump early on, the Pied Piper strategy. I think it will backfire much in the same way. No, I don't think the GOP is Pied Pipering Zohran. I think Republicans are a lot smarter. I think the GOP is a lot smarter than we give them credit in terms of winning elections. Their policies are horrible. And the very fact that they win any elections at all means that they are very good at doing politics. And no, I don't think that they're Pied Pipering Zohran. I think that they're genuinely fearful of Zohran. And they were a little caught off guard by what Donald Trump did here. I don't think Donald Trump is doing Pied Piper over Zohran. Trump, POTUS has good moments, but this is an all-timer. Trump smiled at Mamdani in a way he never has with JD. Meanwhile, he's outside the room grasping for any possible way to still glaze him, lol. POTUS has a lot of good moments, but this is an all-timer. I love that that is true, by the way, that Donald Trump is actually unironically infatuated with Zohran Mamdani in a way that he is not with JD Vance.
That was missing.
Eric Adams reaction? You got an Eric Adams reaction? What's funny about these guys is like Eric Adams, Andrew Cuomo, they're all compromised and they all want this level of respect from Donald Trump and they will never get it because they're weak, they're ineffective. Donald Trump hates them. He will use them because he has leverage over them. But with Zohran Mamdani, he doesn't have leverage over Zohran Mamdani because Zohran Mamdani won convincingly against all odds. So he's basically there to take away a little bit of that shine, to stand in the spotlight alongside the affordability candidate, to basically present himself as also someone who's invested in affordability. Do you understand what's going on here? That's why the dynamic is very different. He loves winners.
To the best of my knowledge, he's a Democrat. And when the mayor saw that portrait, he said, "Sir, do you mind if I have a picture taken by that portrait?" It's an amazing portrait. I hope the picture comes out good. But it's an amazing portrait in the cabinet room. So he's a big fan of the New Deal, I guess, and of FDR. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said that you both spoke about crime. There are many police officers set to come off the rolls at the end of this year in New York City. Are you going to allow those police to be replaced with police officers, actual cops? And are you going to require that that happens? Would there be some consequence if the staff
happens? But again, that's going to be ultimately the mayor's decision.
What's your answer?
Is that I look forward to delivering public safety with the NYPD, and I've said over the course of our campaign that we have the number of police officers today. They are the ones that's budgeted about 35,000 headcount. And I think the key thing is that we have to make it easier for police to focus on police work, not ask them to respond to 200,000 mental health calls a year.
So is that a reduction from what you're at right now? Are you committing to maintaining the same level of cops?
I've committed over the course of the campaign to maintain the 35,000. That's the headcount that we had through the campaign.
And not replace them with caseworkers, social workers?
No, I've said that's the headcount that we want. What we need to do is make sure they can focus on serious crime.
And he just retained a great police commissioner, I believe, right?
Yes, we did. Commissioner Tisch.
If the newspapers are correct.
That one they're correct about.
He retained, I think, somebody that is she's a good friend of some of the people in my family, of Ivanka, and they say she's really good, really competent, and he just retained her, so that's a good sign.
Mr. President, are there still topics that you see the two of you disagreeing on in the future? And do you think you'll have more meetings like this?
There will be topics that we disagree on. I think we'll probably come to a conclusion, and ultimately he'll convince me or I'll convince him. You know, it's for the good of New York. Ultimately, it's for the good of New York. I don't care about affiliations or parties or anything else. I want to see if this city could be unbelievable, if he could be a spectacular success, I'd be very happy.
Do you think you guys will meet more in the future, too?
Excuse?
Do you think you'll meet again in the future, throughout the administration?
I think we will. I hope we do. I enjoyed the meeting. We had a great meeting. Please.
Mr. President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't, but she's out there campaigning, and you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that sort of divisive?
She's a very capable person.
Isn't
but
that a kind of label?
you really have to ask her about that. But no, I don't particularly. I think I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again. And I can say again, because New York was great. When I came down to Washington initially, the city was so hot. It was doing great. We were having some telltale signs and problems. We had a mayor that was not doing a great job, but still, it was moving along. And it went bad. It really went, pretty bad. And he can, I think it's been at lower points, but it went pretty bad. I think he can bring it back. Now, the question is, will he bring it back all the way? Will he bring it back greater than ever before, which is, I guarantee, that's his wish. I think he wants to make it greater than ever before. And if he can, we'll be out there cheering. I'll be cheering for him. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. You chose not to answer the question about the synagogue protest.
Thank you very much.
God, I love the hog meltdown. Oh my God. What a time to be alive. Trump just destroyed our campaign by saying he's not a jihadist. Yep. Look at this still from the meeting. It's so over. Yeah. Find you somebody who looks at you like Donald Trump looks at Zohran Mamdani. Mike Johnson, we're going to make Zohran Mamdani the face of the Democratic Party. Donald Trump. And what a beautiful face it is. Look at that smile. We love Zohran Mamdani, don't we, folks? I look forward to working with him. He's going to make New York City great again. He's going to make New York City great again.
About Jewish safety, and I look forward to rooting out anti-Semitism across the 5 boroughs and protecting Jewish New Yorkers and every New Yorker who calls the city home.
He said that was good. Oh, shit. Look how happy he is. Look at his face. Look at his face. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. This doesn't mean he's not going to keep daggering him. He will. He will. He will keep playing. He'll keep playing the song and dance like, oh, yeah, Zohran Mamdani, he's crazy. He's a communist. He's a radical communist Marxist. He's out of his mind, whatever. Very mixed feelings on this White House meeting, says Zach Sage Fox. This is Andrew Cuomo. This is Andrew Cuomo's social media guy. Remember him? Very mixed feelings on this White House meeting. I love when people from different sides come together and work on issues for Americans, but Zohran is a blatant terrorist sympathizer with views that are vehemently anti-American and out of the mainstream. Socialism is no joke. I wish the president pushed him to reform and moderate. Didn't even try. Oh, that's glorious. This makes me very happy. The commonality is that Trump and Mamdani understand that most Americans are unhappy with the status quo. This makes them more in sync with the electorate than the brain-dead neoliberalism and the GOP. Donald Trump ran on a wave of anti-establishment anger and resentment, and he won on that anti-establishment wave and resentment. Oh my God. I did miss this part. Stefanik has called Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now? Dude, if I'm oh my God, at least Stefanik's going to kill herself, dude. Holy shit. He just destroyed her entire gubernatorial run. Oh my God.
Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't, but she's out there campaigning, and you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that sort of
she's a very capable person, but you'd really have to ask her about that. But I don't particularly. I think I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again, and I can say again, because New York was great. When I'm meeting, please.
Mr. President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist?
Full statement from Kathy Hochul. Hochul Campaign Communications Director Serafina Chitika released the following statement. The entire country just watched Donald Trump throw Elise Stefanik under the bus the same way she's been throwing New Yorkers under the bus for years. In one breath, Trump nuked her opening argument and told every New Yorker listening that she's only playing politics. We haven't seen Stefanik take an L this big since Trump crushed her dreams of joining his administration. Oh, nasty, 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 nasty business. That's what politics is. It's a nasty business. It's not a very good business. It's nasty.